I know the feeling. You scroll through a sea of pool cleaners, each promising crystal clear water with zero effort, and you finally settle on one that looks solid in the pictures. Then you finally get it home, hook it up, and the whole excitement fizzles out because the robot just skims the surface, or it gets stuck on the ladder, or it never quite reaches that stubborn line where the water meets the tiles. That's the exact nightmare I'm trying to help you avoid today. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking into a robotic cleaner for my own backyard, I wanted something that could actually handle a medium-sized Inground pool, climb the walls, and let me forget about vacuuming for weeks at a time. The Sq.ft robot pool cleaner popped up because it advertises wall climbing power, a bottom roller brush, and a plug-and-play setup. Those are all nice on paper, but the real test is how they hold up when you actually have a pool to clean, a schedule to keep, and a budget that doesn't stretch forever. First off, let's talk about the size range. The unit is rated for pools up to 4,300 square feet, which covers most residential in-ground pools, from the modest 12 by 24-foot rectangle to the larger freeform designs. In practice, I found that the robot's internal navigation algorithm does a decent job of mapping the perimeter, but it isn't a true smart map that remembers obstacles. If you have a pool with a lot of built-in features, say, a diving board, a waterfall, or a complex stepladder, you'll notice the robot occasionally looping around the same spot or taking a few extra passes to get past a tight corner. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean you'll have to let it run a bit longer than the advertised cycle time to get the same level of cleanliness you'd expect in a simpler pool. The wall scrubbing function is the headline feature. The robot has a set of small rubberized pads that press against the vertical surface while the motor spins a brush along the waterline. In my tests, the robot managed to lift a light film of algae that had built up on the tiled wall after a hot weekend. However, the pressure isn't enough for stubborn, mineral-based stains. If you live in an area with hard water, you'll still need to occasionally do a manual spot clean or apply a pool line conditioner. The robot shines, though, when the wall is just a little bit dusty or has a thin layer of biofilm. It saves you the chore of dragging a manual brush up and down every few weeks. Bottom cleaning is where the roller brush really shows its worth. The brush rolls along the floor, dislodging fine debris that a standard suction head would miss. In a pool that collects leaves from surrounding trees, I saw a noticeable reduction in the amount of leaf litter that settled on the floor after a single 90-minute run. The robot's ability to climb the ladder and navigate shallow steps also surprised me. It handled a 4-inch step without stalling, which is a common pain point for cheaper models that simply give up when they encounter any elevation change. Now, about the plug-and-play claim. The setup is genuinely straightforward. You plug the power cord into a standard 110-volt outlet, drop the robot into the water, press start, and let it go. There's a small control panel on the side for selecting a cleaning mode: auto, wall, or spot. The auto mode alternates between floor and wall, which is fine for most users. What isn't mentioned in the marketing copy is that the robot relies on the pool's filtration system to power its internal pump. If your pump is already running at high capacity, you might notice a slight increase in your electricity bill during a cleaning cycle. It's not huge, but it's something to factor in if you're watching utility costs closely. One hidden trade-off is the hose length. The robot comes with a 30-foot power cable, which is ample for most in-ground installations, but if your pool house is on the far side of a large deck, you'll need an extension cord, something the manufacturer doesn't include. Using a non-rated extension can cause voltage drops, which might affect the robot's performance or, in the worst case, damage the unit. So, measure the distance before you start the cleaning run. The user interface is minimalist, which I appreciate. There's no app, no Wi-Fi, just the button panel on the unit. That means no firmware updates, but it also eliminates the frustration of dealing with connectivity issues. If you're the kind of person who likes to control everything from your phone, this robot will feel a bit old school. If you prefer a set-and-forget device, the simplicity works in its favor. Let's talk about who should actually consider buying this. If you have an in-ground pool under 4,300 square feet, a moderate amount of leaf fall, and you're looking for a low-maintenance solution that can handle both floor and wall cleaning without you having to lift a hose, the Sq.ft Robot offers.